Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining today. We'll be getting started in just a moment. We're just going to give everybody a chance to log in, but in the meantime, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat and let us know a little bit about yourself, where you're joining us from in the world. If you know what program you're looking to study, go ahead and get to know each other a little bit, and we'll be getting started in just a moment. All right, so we are a little past 1 in the afternoon here in the UK, so thank you all for joining us today. This is the Edinburgh Business School Q&A. My name is Kristell. I'm one of the enrollment advisors here at Heriot-Watt University online. My colleague Vari is in the chat as well, so if you have any questions in the chat, she may be popping in from time to time to answer them. So if you see her, say hi. Before I get started, I want to make sure you can all hear me. If you're joining from a web browser on a computer and you can't hear me, please try refreshing the page. That usually does fix everything. But also check that your speakers are switched on and connected to Microsoft Teams. If you are still having trouble after trying those two things, pop a message into the Q&A box and we can help. A brief overview of what I'll be talking about today. I'll give an introduction to the enrollment process with Edinburgh Business School at Heriot-Watt University, talk a little bit about why to study online with Heriot-Watt. I'll go over some of the most frequently asked questions that we get, but I do want to devote the majority of the time to the questions that you all might have. So if you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to type them into the chat, but you can also wait until we get to the Q&A session and then I can address them at that point. All right, so one of the things I want to talk about is how to enroll at Edinburgh Business School. So we recognize that successful, motivated students come from a range of educational and professional backgrounds, and we are proud to extend transformative education to all. So we do offer a performance-based admissions process that is inclusive and flexible. While we advise that students should meet a minimum academic level, such as holding a degree, so that you're best placed to succeed on the program, it is not a requirement. And I will talk about this in a little bit later as well. But if you feel you are ready to start studying, you can enroll immediately. You do not need to wait for a particular intake. You don't need to complete an application form. You can enroll and start studying straight away. So one of the questions we get the most often is about our enrollment pathways. We do have the standard admissions process that allows you to formally enroll in the program immediately. For this pathway, you will provide proof of a recognized first or second class honors degree or an international equivalent or an equivalent professional qualification. If your first language is not English, we will also request proof of your English language ability. But we do want to make our programs available and accessible to everybody, so we do offer performance-based admissions as well. So for this pathway, you will formally enroll after successfully completing one of the core courses within your program. So it's not an additional course, it's not an additional fee, it's just you'll be passing one of these core courses before you're formally enrolled. And if you have questions about that, please don't hesitate to let us know. So the steps to enrollment are very straightforward. You're going to head to your chosen program page on our website, which is hw.ac.uk/online, and then click on the Enroll Now button. It's available on a few places on the website, but if you're at the top of the page, it'll always be right there, and you just click on it. Then just follow the instructions. You'll first enter your personal details, then you'll select which courses you're interested in purchasing at that time, and then you'll be led to make your initial payment. So all in all, the enrollment process does take about 10 minutes or so, so it is very simple. But upon completion, you will hear from our student engagement team, and they'll reach out to you to guide you through the next steps. So they will ask, potentially, depending which pathway you go down, for proof of your previous qualifications, as well as proof of English language if necessary. So keep an eye on your inbox and your junk folder just in case we end up there, because they will reach out within a few business days of us receiving confirmation of your payment. But because the process is so straightforward, it does enable you to commence your studies promptly without having to await a fixed intake or undergo an application review. So once you finish the enrollment process, usually within just a few business days, as I was saying, you'll have access to the full student portal and can start your studies. Why study online? So at Heriot-Watt, we recognize that there is a need for professionals to develop their knowledge and skills alongside work and other commitments. Studying a postgraduate degree through online learning allows you to get new knowledge and update your existing skills, and you can apply them to your workplace in real time. It also allows you to expand your professional network. Integrating your study with full-time employment lets you use your new skills and knowledge immediately to benefit yourself and your organization. Most of our students are full-time employees as well, so they are able to put what they've learned into use straight away. We do get a lot of questions about what kind of support is available to our online students, and there are a lot of resources available to you. So you'll have access to the online ebooks 24/7. So whatever time of day, whatever day of the week you want to study, you will have access to it and access to all the resources. You can get academic support from our tutors as well. They are going to be checking the discussion forums on weekdays, so definitely reach out to them if there's anything in the material that you need some clarification on or would like some more information. Definitely use those discussion forums and they'll keep an eye on it on the weekdays. Weekends, of course, they're not going to be checking it, but they'll get back to you as well. We also do have discussion boards and cafe areas where you can get to know your fellow students. You can speak to them. People will often talk about how the things that they're learning in their courses can apply to their own particular backgrounds. So we do have students who come from all over the world and from a wide variety of work experience and fields. So you can see how it can apply in many different circumstances. There's also an introduction to digital study and academic skills that you can see online. So we want to make sure you feel confident in how to study online, as well as what we are looking for exactly from Heriot-Watt University. So definitely take a look through that once you get access to your student portal. You'll also have access to LinkedIn Learning. And if you need any extra help, there are still more resources available. We are only an email away, so definitely reach out to us if there's anything we can help with. You can message your tutors through team chats, through Microsoft Teams. And as I mentioned, the discussion forums are a really great resource. It is up to the students how much they use them, but it is a wonderful way to speak to your classmates as well as the academics and dive deeper into the topics. So definitely take as much advantage of it as you can. One of the questions that we get a lot is about what happens with the assessments. So our programs offer unique, authentic assessments tailored to each program and aligned to their objectives. So what'll happen is you're going to have a final online assessment at the end of each of your courses, and you'll have 24 hours to complete the assessment. So we'll set that date, but you'll have 24 hours to download it, write the paper, and then submit it again through the student portal. You'll have access to your notes, all your course materials, anything that was available during the course. So the virtual learning environment is still available to you. You'll have the access to the internet. Anything you need, you'll still have access to. So don't worry about that, but just make sure you do have internet access that day so you can have all the resources that you need. When you register for a course, you're going to be formally enrolled in the assessment period that's at least 3 months in the future, but you are very welcome to push that back. So we have assessments that take place every year in December, in April, May, and in July, August. So if you register and the next assessment period that's available to you is December, but you know that December is a very busy time at work and you have a lot of deadlines that you're going to meet and you won't have the capacity to take an assessment, that is not a problem. You can go on to your student portal and push the assessment date to a future one. So if April, May looks better, feel free to push it back, but you can continue to study in the meantime. So just keep an eye on that. All right, so some of the questions that we get is, what will my certificate look like? Any program you complete as an online learning student gives you the exact same qualification as your on-campus peers. So if you're taking an MBA as an online student, it's going to be the same as someone who took an MBA on one of our campuses. So you'll be equally as qualified. And your degree certificate will be identical as well. So there's no mention of online learning on the certificate. We do get a lot of questions about funding and scholarships. So there is a few things you may want to consider. We have the Edinburgh Business School's upfront discount. So if you are interested in purchasing all the courses upfront, you would be eligible for a 20% discount. So some of our students choose to spread out the payments by purchasing the courses course by course, or if they want to do 2 courses now, and then they'll purchase 3 courses after they finish those 2. That's absolutely doable, and you can spread out the payments that way. But if you are interested in purchasing them all up front, you are eligible, as I was saying, for that 20% fee reduction. This does only apply to the full degrees, so it doesn't apply to like the postgrad certificates or a postgrad diploma. If you're looking to just do that, you don't want to necessarily need the full MBA or the MSc, that might be something to keep in mind. It also doesn't apply to the DBA programs. Also, just check our website to see if there are any scholarships that are available to you. For example, we have the Emerging Economies Scholarship that is available for students based on their country of residence. They might be eligible for it. So take a look at our website. And of course, please let us know if you have any questions. Okay, so I know I sped through things pretty quickly because I did want to leave the most time to answer any questions you might have. So please feel free to type them in. If there's anything I touched on that you want to go into more detail about, please let me know. If you have any questions that are really specific to you that maybe you don't feel comfortable asking about in this webinar setting, you can also always reach out to the enrollment team at hw.onlineapps@hw.ac.uk. We can also set up an individual call with you, so whatever works for you, just let us know. But if you have any questions right now, please feel free to post them in the chat. And if anybody wants to book a call with us, you can always go to our website and we have a link to set that up, or email us and we can set up a call for you as well. All right, so it looks like we're getting some questions in. So there's a question about what is the graduation like? So graduation is a really great atmosphere. So we have graduations in Edinburgh, in Malaysia, in Dubai, and our online students are going to be invited to join us in person if you'd like, and we do encourage that. I will make a particular case for Edinburgh. I think it can be really pretty here, but it's completely up to you which course you, or not which course, which campus you want to go to for the graduation. But they do have a really fun atmosphere. We have had students who have been getting to know each other through the discussion forums, and they meet up for the first time at graduation and can celebrate together, which is lovely. But it's a really good atmosphere. People are really engaged and celebratory, so it is a lot of fun. I definitely encourage you to join if you can. If you're not able to join or you're not interested in joining, we can still post you your documentation. So don't worry about that. We will still make sure that you have everything that you achieved, but hope you can join us. All right, so there's questions about English language requirements. So there are a few different ways to meet the English language requirement. An English language proof of English language proficiency is only required if you're going through the standard academic entryway. So for that one, you'll need to provide proof either through an approved exam such as IELTS. If you've studied your undergraduate degree or a higher degree in English, that could potentially be considered. But for those kinds of things, something to keep in mind is that they have to be within the last 2 years to be considered. So if you took your IELTS in 2020, that unfortunately falls outside of the range of time that we can consider. If your undergraduate degree, you graduated in 2022, that still also falls out. But other options can include if you're working in a place and English is the language of the work environment, a letter from your HR department or your line manager can be used as proof of English language. So that's all options that are available for the standard academic route. If none of those are possibilities, we do still have the performance-based admission route where you wouldn't need to provide proof of English language proficiency because taking and passing that core course would be proof of your English language. So there are options available for you. I'll try to see if I can find the link for the English language requirements so you can look through all the details about it, but then you can post in the chat, and if you have any questions about it, just let us know. Okay, I am seeing a question about the order of courses that you want to take. So we do have suggested sequences for some of our programs. They are just suggested, so you are welcome to do whatever order of the courses that you want to go through. Basically, there are a few ones where if there's like the reflective portfolio in some of our MSCs or the business projects for the MSc in business and organizational psychology, those need to happen at the end of the program. But otherwise, the others, we have suggested sequences. Let us know which programs you're interested in, and we can pass that along to you. If you find the student handbooks, it's also included in there for the suggested sequences. But like I've been saying, it's suggested for the most part. So if there is a core course, like if you're going through the performance-based admissions pathway, and we suggest having the people work in organizations course first, but you have a lot of experience in financial decision making and you'd rather take that one first, you are welcome to. But we do just have a suggested sequence to make things a little bit easier for people. But like I said, whatever order you want to go to, with the exception of some of those projects and portfolios, you can go in whichever order feels best to you. So there's a question about how long it takes to complete the program, as well as if there's a way to accelerate things. So for the majority of the programs, the master's programs that we offer through Edinburgh Business School, they can be completed within about a year. That is usually possible if you're doing 3 assessments per assessment period. We don't recommend doing more than 2 most of the time because life can get really hectic, and the courses can have the assessments scheduled for the same day, so definitely keep that in mind if you want to do an accelerated pace. But it is feasible. Once again, some of the MSCs would require you to finish all the courses beforehand before you can do that final project, so some of them have an 1.5 year kind of minimum. But it is feasible to do it on a quicker pace. Most of our students finish in the 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 year range, but it can be completed. A lot of the programs can be completed within a year if you're doing the max number of assessments per assessment period, which is 3. Although, like I was saying, that can get really hectic. So we try to recommend not doing more than 2, but it is ultimately up to you. Just definitely keep those dates in mind and try to select courses to study for each assessment diet that aren't going to be overlapping, because we aren't able to change the dates of the assessments. But generally speaking, like I was saying, the duration is usually the 2 to 3, 3 to 4 year range. You do have up to 8 years to complete everything. So just keep that in mind as well. Okay, so how are the assessments structured? So the specifics of the assessments, of course, differs course by course, but it tends to be a mixture of case studies, essays, and scenarios. So it's a written assessment that you'll be able to download, write, and submit within that 24-hour period. There aren't any group assignments. There are quizzes throughout the course, but those are knowledge checkpoint quizzes for you to make sure that you're understanding and grasping the material. It's not something that counts towards your mark, but the final online assessment is that mixture typically of case studies, scenarios, and essays. And like I said, everything will be online. It's all written. Make sure you have internet access that day so you can access everything, and it is open book. Okay, the next question I'm seeing here about, is there an option to attend some classes physically on campus? So our courses are completely online. We don't have a hybrid option. If you happen to be near the campus and you want to just be on campus to use a change of scenery, if you want to study, you are welcome to do so, but you aren't able to attend any classes on campus. There is live online tutorials for some of the courses that you can choose to add on, but those would be online as well. So they would be happening live with an academic, and I'm happy to go into details about this if you have any questions about it. But those would be happening online at particular times, and it would be you and whoever else has chosen to add this on in the audience being able to ask questions and see what they're teaching, but it is online. There isn't the option to have any physical classes on campus. The only in-person component is graduation. Okay, I'm seeing a question that's coming through about one of our Aegis programs for building services. So if you could email us at hwonlineapps@hw.ac.uk. We do have a guide for filling out the Aegis application. It's usually there was an incorrect selection earlier on, but email us. That is a different application process compared to the Edinburgh Business School enrollment process. So message us and we can help you out with that. All right, so there is a question about if you need to be in employment to be doing this degree. Absolutely not. If you are, that's great. If you're not, also great. If you're not in employment, it is a better chance to be able to do like the accelerated pace, because that's usually what happens. It's full-time students who are doing the 3 courses per assessment period. But everybody's different, of course. You can still spread it out. That is not an issue. We do have a number of students who are working or aren't working as well. So it's a wide range. You don't have to be working to complete this degree at all. You do not need work experience to apply for this degree. So we have the 2 admission routes, and so it's either just the academic route or the performance-based route. So you don't have to have work experience. We do have students who come straight onto the program from their undergraduate degree or from wherever life has taken them, but it is not an experience or not a requirement to have work experience. You might see some of the students posting in the discussion forum about how things that they're learning in the course can be applied to their current workplace or former workplaces, but you don't have to have work experience. So definitely, if this is something you're interested in, please apply or please enroll. That's completely fine. You don't have to have any particular experience. Okay, so I'm getting a question about the scholarships and discounts and such. So the Emerging Economy Scholarship is the main scholarship that we have available, and that is based on the country of residence versus the country of citizenship. So if you are based in a country that has eligibility for the Emerging Economy Scholarship, but your citizenship is from a country that's not, it's the country of residence that the system will take into consideration when it applies the scholarship. So this is an automatic scholarship. Basically what happens is when you hit the Enroll Now button, you'll be asked to put in your personal details, and one of those sections is asking about your address. And so the system will be able to tell if you are based in a country where the scholarship is available to you. And if it is, the next page will show the fees for the courses with the scholarship price there. If you live in a country that's not eligible for the Emerging Economies Scholarship, it won't be applied, but you do still have the option if you're interested in doing the upfront discount, so purchasing all the courses upfront, you would still be eligible for that 20% discount. So that one is still an option, just the Emerging Economy Scholarship is tied to your country of residence. Okay, next question I'm seeing is what length are the assessment periods and can you pay by module? So the assessment periods, it takes place over a week. So it's typically Monday to Friday, and you have 24 hours on the day of the assessment. So let's say your assessment was scheduled for Tuesday. You would have from, it might be like 9 or 10 a.m. UK time. You'd have 24 hours from that point to be able to download, write, and then submit the assessment. So the assessment itself usually takes in the 3 to 4 hour range. Again, everybody's different, but we do give this large window so that if people live in different time zones or they have family or work responsibilities that just can't be rearranged, you do have some options available to you. Just make sure that you do submit it before that window closes. And you absolutely can pay by module or by course. So as I was just mentioning, you can do the upfront payment and then you'd be eligible for the 20% discount. But if you want to purchase them course by course, you are more than welcome to do so. So let's say you just want to start with one course. You can go to the Enroll Now button, enter all those personal details, and then just on the next page, select the course that you want to purchase at that point. And then you would just move on to the payment pages and you'd pay for that one course. When you are done, you'll have access to the course. You can start studying it. When you complete the course, you can just go through your student portal and can select the next course that you want to purchase and then just keep going. So you can definitely spread out the payments. We will be able to share a copy of the webinar, so definitely keep an eye on your email. It might take a couple of days, but we will be able to share that for you. And if you want a copy of anything, just also feel free to send us an email to hwonlineapps@hw.ac.uk. Okay, sorry, misunderstood the question. So from the time you start the course to the assessment time, that can differ because it is a self-paced program. So I believe I had mentioned before that when you register for a course, you're going to be automatically enrolled in the assessment period that's at least 3 months in the future, but you can push that back. So it does depend on you how quickly that time will go. The typical time it takes to complete a course is about 200 independent study hours, but it is self-paced. But we have found that if you are doing the one course per assessment period, that usually works out to be about 10 to 20 hours of study per week. But if you're doing more courses, of course, that would increase. But it's about that time. One thing to keep in mind is once you start a course, you have up to 2 years to finish that particular course. So for example, the MBA is made up of 9 courses. Once you start a particular one, you have 2 years to finish it, but you can push it back. We automatically register you for the one that's at least 3 months in the future, just for simplicity's sake. But if that date doesn't work for you, or as you get closer to the assessment period, you realize you haven't had as much time to devote to your studies as you would have wanted to, and you want to push it back, you absolutely can do so. We'll have information in the student handbook about how to push it back, but you can absolutely do that. I hope I answered your question that time, but if I misunderstood still, please let me know. All right. So if you are eligible for the Emerging Economies Scholarship, you are still able to also take advantage of the upfront discount. So you can combine those two. I don't know what that works out to be percentage-wise, because the Emerging Economies is an approximate of about discount, so it's about a 30% discount approximately, but you can still get the upfront discount. One thing you can do if you just want to have an idea of what the fees will be, if you go onto that Enroll Now button and you enter your information, make sure that the address is correct, has the right country. The second page will let you choose all the courses that you want to purchase at this time. You can either choose course by course, selecting them individually, or there is like an apply button. I don't remember exactly what the wording of the button says, but there's like a big blue banner at the top that's basically letting you know about this upfront discount. If you click that, it'll pre-select courses for you, and it'll show then the price that changes, or the price it changes to, with the upfront discount as well. And the final page will show you the price with everything included. So the Emerging Economies and the upfront discount, if eligible for either of those, that'll be included. So you can see the price, and you're not going to be taken to the continue onwards, but that should hopefully give you an idea about what to expect cost-wise. So definitely keep that in mind. Excuse me. And let me see. Oh, also, just if you're doing the upfront discount and you're required to select the electives, just want to reassure you that you're not necessarily going to be locked into those. So you have to choose the electives to be able to get the discount, but as long as you haven't started studying them yet, you can let us know and we can change them. So if it's going to just, you're doing the general MBA where you choose 3 electives in addition to your 6 core courses, if you're not sure which electives you want to take yet, that is fine. We can change them at a later time. Just make sure you haven't started studying those yet. Like, don't start them. But up until that point, we can still change them. Okay, and in terms of referencing during the assessments, so the courses and the student engagement team, they're going to message you with all the details about what needs to be included in the assessments. So definitely keep an eye out on your email, because they'll let you know exactly what needs to be needed, the formatting that things need to be based in, how to save your file so that it gets uploaded correctly. Keep an eye on that. They'll let you know exactly what's needed. So nothing will be a surprise, but just make sure you read everything that's sent to you. Additionally, for a number of our courses, you'll be able to see past papers and assessments, so you have an idea about what to expect. So you're not going to be going in blind. You'll be able to see what has been done in the past. So that is also another resource available for you when you're preparing for the assessment. So take a look at that, read through it, see what has been provided there, and then just please make sure to read over all the information that is sent to you. All right, so there's a question about attending graduations. So there is a possibility that you will need a visa to attend the graduation. Of course, it depends on which country you're from, which campus you're going to, what might be required. But we do not help with the visa application process. We don't send out an invitation letter. So for example, our students who come to the Edinburgh graduations, they typically apply for a standard visitor visa, but it would be the student's responsibility to take a look and see which visa is required for them, as well as applying for it in a timely manner to make sure you're able to join us. But it's been a fairly, what's it called? Manageable process, I think. We have a lot of students, online students, joining us from all over the world every year, but just make sure you keep an eye on what the requirements are and that you apply for the visa within the time frame that's specified if that's necessary. Okay, and then there's a question about, are there any optional courses and how many are there? So that depends on which course you are applying for or enrolling in. So for the MBAs, there are 6 core courses that you're going to have to take no matter which MBA you're taking, and then the 3 remaining courses is where the differentiation lies. So for, like I was saying, the general MBA, you get to choose 3 electives. For the specialisms, in most cases, there's going to be 2 core specialist courses that you have to take, and then 1 elective specialist course where you can choose from usually 2 or 3 different options. For some of our MSCs, you might have 4 or 5 core courses, and then you would choose the remaining electives from a list that are available to you. Some of the MSCs don't have any elective courses available. It's all required courses and like a business project. So it just depends on the course that you are interested in. If you want to know more about your particular course, please let us know. We can help you with that. Or you can go onto our website and just go to the program page. And then if you go to the course content section, it'll let you know there's this many core courses, this many elective courses. It'll also specify how many electives there are. So take a look at that. But if it's a little confusing or you're considering a number of courses, just let us know and we can also pass on that information to you. All right, so there's a question about if you start with 1 core course on the performance-based admission pathway, how does that impact the 20% upfront discount? So no matter which pathway you go down, you are eligible for this 20% upfront discount. However, you do have to purchase them all upfront. So you're not able to just do the 1 course and then purchase the remaining ones to take advantage of the discount. It would have to be in 1 purchase. So that is something to consider. If you have questions about it, let us know. We can talk with you about what your options are. But it is the same criteria for that upfront discount no matter which pathway you're going down. But also, I have talked a little bit about some of the resources in terms of the past assessments that are available for you to take a look at. We do also have the discussion forums, like I've mentioned, for you to ask questions of the academics. So if there's something you don't know, feel free to let them know. We have the live online tutorials. So if there is a course that you think you would benefit from it, definitely consider adding it on if you think it would be helpful. One of those sessions is usually devoted to preparing you for the assessment. So of course, all the information is there to help you prepare, but if you're feeling particularly nervous, that might be something to look into. It is also, as I've mentioned, open book, so you will have access to all your learning materials, your course materials, the internet. So definitely take advantage of all of that. But if you have any questions or want to have an individual conversation, just let us know. HW Online Apps at hw.ac.uk. And we can either answer through email or can set up a one-on-one call with you, whatever you think would be helpful. I think I've reached the end of the questions right now. We have a few more minutes, so if you do have any other questions, let us know. If you weren't able to join from the beginning, do not worry. We will be able to send out the recording it might, like I said before, it might take a couple of days to get that to you, but keep an eye out for it. Email us if you have questions in the meantime, and let us know if there's anything we can help with. If you think of any questions after this webinar is over, just send us an email as well, and we can take care of that. So there's a question that came in about what should happen if you fail an assessment. So hopefully this doesn't happen for anybody, but if it does, there are reset opportunities. So basically, if you fail an assessment, you'll have an option for a reset, so a second attempt. There is a fee associated with it, but that is something that you'd be able to do. We have some information about that. If that's something you are concerned about, let us know, and we can send you all that information. But also, like I said, we do have all these resources available to you. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're feeling like you're not ready for the assessment, you can push it back. So we know life happens. If things get really hectic and overwhelming in the couple of months before that your assessment, and as you get closer, like the assessment is like a month and a half away and you haven't really had a chance to dive into the materials yet, you can push back your assessment. You don't have to take it during the first assessment period that we automatically register you for. If you're not feeling confident, you can absolutely push it back. That is not an issue. Students do that all the time. Things can get overwhelming and life throws curveballs. So don't hesitate to take advantage of that if you think that would be helpful. But just make sure you do so before the deadline so that you don't have any fees or anything like that. But the deadline is much closer to the assessment date. I believe it's about 4 weeks out, but you'll get all the information about that as well. Okay, there's a question, how many assessments per course? So the entirety of your mark is based on the final online assessment that's at the end of each course. So there is one assessment per course. Just keep in mind that there are like quizzes throughout the course, but those are just for your knowledge and for your marking of how you're understanding the information. So those aren't towards your marks. That's just completely for you to be able to see how well you're grasping the material at that point. So it's not anything that you need to be worried about impacting your mark. It's just that one final online assessment at the end of each of the courses, or for some of the MSCs, like the reflective portfolios, things like that. Okay, so we are at the end of the webinar. Thank you all so much for joining. If you have any questions, please let us know. Our email address is on the screen. Some of our socials are here as well. So if you have any questions, anything else pops up later on, please just let us know. I hope I was able to answer your questions, but thank you all for joining us, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you. Have a great day.